Hello and welcome to On the Money, right here on WDBO, AM 580, always streaming inside your very own WDBO app. This is your chance to hop on the air with experts in the Certified Financial Group office there. Today, we're so fortunate to have Joe Bert and Wynn Smith, two certified financial planners from the award-winning Certified Financial Group, offering advice and feedback and compliments, critiques, whatever you may need on a Saturday morning. The Certified Financial Group has been doing so for nearly 40 years here on the airwaves of WDBO. Joe, Wynn, how you guys doing today?
We're doing great. Good to be with you. As you said in the intro, we are here to take questions that might be on your listeners' minds or on your minds or anybody's minds out there. Things about stocks, bonds, real estate, long-term health care, reverse mortgages, IRAs, 401ks, all that stuff that Wynn and I and the 14 other certified financial planners deal with day in and day out, providing retirement planning and investment advice for a fee on Monday through Friday. But as I say, on Saturday morning, we are here for you absolutely free. So if there's anything on your mind, things you've been thinking about, things that just don't sound right to you, things your brother-in-law might have said and really don't sound right to you, Wynn and I are here to hopefully clear up that mind fog. So if anything on your mind, the good news for you is the lines are absolutely not a 1-hour infomercial. We are actually, in fact, we are the only financial show on the weekends. It is a live call-in show. Everybody else talks about their firm, which is fine. But we are here, as we have been now for nearly 40 years, taking live questions and hopefully help you out. So give us a call. Those numbers are
844-580-9326, 844-580 WDBO. As always, also welcome to send in your question using the open mic feature inside the WDBO app. Today's topic are interview questions for a financial advisor.
Yes,
Joe, as I was talking, I had a very interesting meeting last week. I had a person that came in who they were in the process of retiring, and they were interviewing wealth management firms, and they had gone on to ChatGPT and said, what questions should I be asking in interviewing wealth management firms?
Right.
And they were kind enough to share the questions with me, and some of these were really good. A lot of this is addressed in the Form ADV and just in
First of all, what's a Form ADV?
That's a great question.
That's why I asked.
In fact, I did some research on that because I've always heard it referred to as Form ADV, and I thought maybe ADV was an acronym for something, but it's not. So the Form ADV is the public disclosure that all registered investment advisors are required to file with the SEC, which goes into a lot of like your qualifications, your background, your experience. It's kind of a biographical checklist of the firm and the individual advisor.
Right. It's an annual filing that we have to do just to tell the government exactly what we do and how we do it.
Right.
So
and
it's public disclosure.
It's public record. You can go out there and you can look it up online. So the first question was about being a fiduciary. And I know, we're big on fiduciary. In fact, I was listening this morning to the rebroadcast, and one of the ads talked about how anybody can call themselves a fiduciary.
And they sure do.
And yes, and that is a huge component of what we do, because that is a legal requirement to put the client's best interest before your own. And it involves not having any conflict of interest. Mm-hmm. And if you do have a conflict of interest, your duty is to minimize it and disclose it.
Right.
So that was the first thing. And again, all of us being certified financial planners, we are fiduciaries.
Well, we're bound by our licensing. By being certified financial planners, we are bound to act in the fiduciary capacity, whereas anybody else can say, well, I'm a fiduciary, but, what does that mean?
Right. I think the ad said like calling yourself a chef just because you had a
spatula.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So yeah, no, and it should, and one of the things we mentioned was, is it in writing? So I think that's probably the litmus test is, are you willing to state that you are a fiduciary in writing?
Yeah, in our management agreements with our clients, we put it in writing. We will act as a fiduciary on your behalf, and we give you the fiduciary pledge. So I think we buttoned that one down. But there's more to it than just as you went into about the individual being a fiduciary. Mm-hmm. We have, as you know, taken it one step further and gotten the firm certified for fiduciary excellence by CFEX, which is an international sanctioning body, if you will, that does a thorough exam and audit of your entire operation, everything from your cybersecurity, from our fee schedule, from disclosures and all that stuff in order to be able to get that certification. And as we've said before, we're proud to be one of only 2% of the firms worldwide that have that CFIX certification. There's two elements to it, once again. The individual that you're dealing with, in that case, you and me and our 14 other certified financial planners, but the firm. Is the firm really bound to also work in a fiduciary capacity? So we touched both those bases. So hopefully you'd answer that question thoroughly for your prospect.
All right. And the second thing was fees and transparency. So, are you fee only? Are you commission? Are there additional fees involved? Those type of things, and obviously, we do wealth management for a fee basis. There's no hidden fees. There's no additional fees involved. It's just
no commissions.
No commissions, nothing like that. But we do, we do have a Certified Insurance Corp as part of the Certified Financial Group. So there is situations, and I was explaining this to the person that's a different scenario, but we still are able to function as fiduciaries, but we have to do that as opposed to like with a normal insurance agent is an agent of an insurance company. We act as brokers. So in other words, we're not a captive agent. We're not working for a particular insurance agency. We deal with sometimes I think we have access to 100, 120 different insurance companies. And what we do is we put the client's interest on the same level as the insurance company. You can't discriminate one over the other, but you can fairly represent both equally. And the way we minimize that conflict of interest is not even being aware of what the commissions are for the various products, because as we try to be product agnostic as much as we can, it's just a matter of finding the best product for the client and not necessarily, trying to sell something. As I tell clients a lot of times, I'm in a position I can buy insurance on your behalf. I'm not trying to sell you insurance.
Right.
So, and again, full disclosure on all that.
And what else you got?
The other thing was qualifications and experience. In the end, that goes back to the ADV. And so everyone's, basically the resume is on that ADV. So it's like, how long have you been in the industry? And what, do you have a specialty? And do you work with clients with have similar goals and financial profiles? What I tell folks that most of our clients are affluent people that are just looking to outsource the financial component of their life.
We have people that, want guidance and want, somebody to handle it for them that they can obviously trust and make those decisions. And what we've seen over the years, of course, is that as people approach those, final chapters of their lives, they want to be sure that their surviving spouse is going to be left in good hands. I've seen that time and time and time again when folks come to our office and getting to talk with them. The real motivation is I want to know that when the time comes, something happens to me, my spouse is not going to be cast to the wolves or be taken advantage of. And it allows you to establish a relationship early on so you feel comfortable when that time comes that ship will continue to sail as you want it to be done. So I think that's a very, very important part of what we're doing. And, the strength of our firm, with being around for now almost 50 years, is that we're going to be here. There's many firms are out there. They're good firms, but they're one or two person operations. And as I've said in one of our ads, or I think WDBO has said in one of our ads, what happens when your planner sails away and doesn't come back? I think that's the strength of our organization is the depth that we have here of planners. Well,
and the other thing that in terms about specialization and specialties, one thing I really enjoy about being a part of CFG is the camaraderie. And, we have our planner meetings and we get together and we have a lot of experience with the number of CFPs we have here and a lot of different business experience and backgrounds. And everybody is very willing to contribute and help out if you're in an area that maybe you don't have the experience or you're looking for a second opinion, I would not hesitate to go to a colleague and ask a specific question.
Well, 14 CFPs, 2 of whom are also CPAs.
That's right. So. Yep. So that's one nice thing about the CFG.
And what else you ask?
All right. So the other thing was the planning approach and services that we offer. And again, we're CFP, so we're all planners, and even wealth management is more holistic than investment management. And we have access to some very powerful financial planning software. I mean, we have the ability to really get down into the weeds with clients. Just depends on what level or what depth is necessary in terms of developing that holistic picture. And in terms of wealth management, I mean, the better we know you as a client, the better we're able to help you with investing.
Right.
So,
I think you have to look at the big picture. In fact, we had a circumstance last week of somebody came over to us as one of the more common or well-known firms. And the reason they came is because they said all they want to do is manage my money. They don't talk to me about planning at all. Never mention IRMA, never mention Roth conversions, nothing. And that's, I think, the distinction that we have. We believe that good investing requires good planning up front, and that's the approach that we've taken over the years to do it. It's a little bit more prolonged or drawn out, if you will. It's not that you drop your money on our front porch and say, now some people do that.
Yeah, right.
They say, I don't want to do planning, exactly where I am. I just want you to manage this money for us. And once we determine what their risk tolerances and time horizon is, we can do that. But most of our folks come to us because they really want to know that at the end of the day, they're going to be okay. And more importantly, how conservatively can you invest your money and still have a high probability of not running out of money? You can be wrong on both sides, as I said before. You can be too aggressive and take unnecessary chances, or you can be too conservative and wake up 10 years later and say, geez, I missed the boat because I wasted all these years in these low-risk investments, and now I'm facing some difficult situations. So that's really what planning brings to the table, and this is what I think our distinction is as certified financial planners.
And then one of the things kind of leading into that was like a personalized plan. How personalized? Is it cookie cutter or is it more personalized?
Exactly. I hear the bumper music, Josh, so take it away.
Thank you so much, Wynn and Joe. If you've got a question for one of these or both of these certified financial planners, I invite you to call in. 844-580-9326 is the number to do so. 844-580-WDBO. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
Today
with the Certified Financial Group.
ChFC has been chosen once again as one of the top 100 financial advisory firms by CNBC of nearly 40,000. And because they won't divulge the selection criteria, asked my colleagues what they thought.
Maybe it's because our history dates back almost 50 years.
Could be because we're independent, but we custody with national firms like Fidelity and others.
17 CFP professionals under one roof.
Or it could be because we're CFEX certified.
And a real person answers the phone.
In any case, we're proud to have been selected. So if you're looking for financial planning or investment advice for a fee, look us up online. You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries and providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
So you guys don't know Chicago, but I'm sure in your neighborhood you guys have an old school butcher where you walk in and there's a bunch of guys, no gloves, big white aprons, and there's Frank and there's Stevie and there's Mikey. And these guys know more about meat and more about animals and more about cooking the meat than any of us will ever learn. And so you walk in and you say, hey, Lou, I need to, I'm barbecuing this weekend, right? What do you like? And Lou goes to the big racks of stuff he has underneath the glass, and he goes, the veal chops, just in from Argentina, they are the bomb. And you go, veal? Oh, I like veal. Well, what do you got on skirt steak? Oh, we got some great skirt steak. Just came in yesterday from Montana. Skirt steak is one of my favorite, marinated up a little bit. It's fantastic. Lou will never say to you, Elliot, it's a little long on the meat here, big guy. Your cholesterol is getting high. Why don't you go down to the fishmonger a couple blocks and have a nice piece of salmon? Right? He'll never do that. Why? His job is to sell me meat, and I go in, actually the same way I go into the Toyota dealership, because I like Toyotas, and I trust the salesman to sell me a good product if I trust him. And the fact that he's got my interest at heart vis-a-vis my expectations for selling me that thing. By the same token, when I go to see a dietitian, I know she's going to look at all of my labs, she's going to take all the measurements, she's going to run all of her analysis, and she's going to absolutely give me her best thinking on what's best for me. Whether she's a vegetarian or a meat lover, likes this, likes that.
Welcome back to On the Money here on WDBO AM 580, always streaming inside your WDBO app. This is your chance to hop on the air, hop inside the four walls of the Certified Financial Group virtually. If you've got a question for Wynn Smith and Joe Bert, two certified financial planners with the Certified Financial Group, 844-580-9326 is the number to call, 844-580-WDBO. Jerry is calling in from Ocala. Go ahead, Jerry. You're on
Good morning,
the air.
Jerry. Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
What's up?
I have a question on there. You were mentioning some initials, I guess, or CFAX or something like this, and and also a reference to a government agency that publishes this information or whatever. And I was wondering if you could spell them out for me, please.
Sure. Well, there's two. There's two of them that we discussed. The SEC, that's the Security and Exchange Commission, which is I'm sure you know, it's not the Southeastern Conference, but although some people confuse them. It's a government It's a government agency that regulates investment advisors, which is what we are. And the acronym ADV, it doesn't really add up as it's an acronym, though. But what does it stand for?
It's the Uniform Application for Investment Advisor Registration and Report by Exempt Reporting Advisor. So I thought, like we were talking earlier, I thought maybe it stood for like advisor disclosure something, but no, what it stands for has nothing to do with the A, the D, and the V.
Yeah, ADV, I guess, just for advisors.
ADV?
Yes, sir.
It's an agency that does this investigation.
Well, the SEC does. That's the SEC. We have to file this form with the SEC every year. In fact, when we do business with our clients, we give them the form ADV, which is the full government disclosure. We're required to do that. In fact, if your advisor isn't giving you form ADV, you need to start asking questions.
Yeah, they're in violation.
Yeah, we're required to do that. That's your government disclosure form.
Oh, the ADV is available from the SEC. and it should be also from the advisor.
Your advisor, when you do business with the advisor, that's one of the first documents that you should receive is the Form ADV. We're required to give that to all of our clients. Yep.
And then it's also public record.
It's public record.
Yeah, you can go to the sec.gov website and look it up too.
Right, right. And the other one you asked about is
okay.
CFEX. That's the Center for Fiduciary Excellence, which is an independent body that opines on the fiduciary standards of investment advisory firms. And you can go to CFEX. That's C as in Charlie, E, F as in Frank, E as in excellent, and X as in X-ray. CFEX.org, O-R-G.org, and you can learn all about CFEX certification. And we've been CFEX certified now for going on 10 years, and it's a real thorough examination of everything that we do as a firm, how we disclose our fees, our cybersecurity, all the things that we do internally on how we charge our clients. There's 140 some questions that we have to answer every year, and then they opine on it, and if you've passed, then you get their stamp of approval. And like I said, we're one of only 2% of the firms. Your previous ad, if you're paying attention, I said 1%. It's since now moved to 2%, but we're one of 2% of the firms in the country that have CFEX certification. So if you want more information about that, go to cfex.org, and you can learn all about that. Or you can go to our website. Go ahead, Jerry.
CFA.
No, CEFEX. Charlie, excellent, Frank, excellent, X-ray, CFEX.
Oh, that's really acronym.
Yeah.
Pronounced there.
That's the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. Or you can go to our website, financialgroup.com, and click on the certified difference, and that'll tell you all about the stuff that we do and how I think we're different from many firms that just claim to do what we do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, financialgroup.com.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. You've answered all the questions now. You talk very fast, so I got to sometimes.
You know, my mother used to tell me that all the time, Jerry.
Okay.
I'm remembering her now, Mother's Day tomorrow. Go ahead.
Oh, good. Happy Mother's Day. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
You're quite welcome. Appreciate the call. And I see we're up here now at the bottom of the hour. We got a text question floated in there. We've got a couple more points we want to cover, too, about what a potential client might be asking you. So we're back to that after the break. Stick around.
We'll dive into all that here on the Money Show with Joe Bert and Wynn Smith, two certified financial planners with the Certified Financial Group. If you want to hop in line, hop on the air. 844-580-9326 is the number to call. 844-580-WDBO. Also, feel free to send in your open mic question using the free WDBO app. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow,
Today,
with the Certified Financial Group.
A fiduciary? When it comes to investing, a fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. For 40 years, planners at Certified Financial Group have been guiding our local clients toward financial peace of mind. The rest of the world is still catching up, but our team of certified financial planners are the local, experienced fiduciaries you can trust. Certified Financial Group are your Central Florida planners. Call us today.
40.
CFG has been chosen once again as one of the top 100 financial advisory firms by CNBC out of nearly 40,000. And because they won't divulge the selection criteria, asked my colleagues what they thought.
Maybe it's because our history dates back almost 50 years.
Could be because we're independent, but we custody with national firms like Fidelity and others.
17 CFP professionals under one roof.
Or it could be because we're CFEX certified.
And a real person answers the phone.
In any case, we're proud to have been selected. So if you're looking for financial planning or investment advice for a fee, look us up online.
You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries, have been providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
So you guys don't know Chicago, but I'm sure in your neighborhood you guys have an old school butcher where you walk in and there's a bunch of guys, no gloves, big white aprons, and there's Frank and there's Stevie and there's Mikey. And these guys know more about meat and more about animals and more about cooking the meat than any of us will ever learn. And so you walk in, you say, "Hey, Lou, I need to, I'm barbecuing this weekend, right? What do you like?" And Lou goes to the big racks of stuff he has underneath the glass, and he goes, the veal chops, just in from Argentina, they are the bomb. And you go, veal? Oh, I like veal. Well, what do you got on skirt steak? Oh, we got some great skirt steak. Just came in yesterday from Montana. Skirt steak is one of my favorite. Marinated up a little bit. It's fantastic.
Welcome back to On the Money here on WDBO AM 580, always streaming inside your WDBO app. This is your chance to hop on the air, to have your own personal one-on-one in front of the radio audience here with the Certified Financial Group. We got Joe Bert, we got Wynn Smith taking your calls, answering your questions today. Available to you at 844-580-9326, 844-580 WDBO. And a good thing about working with the Certified Financial Group is you can kind of ask your questions about what you want to look for in a financial advisor. That's a good topic of we're having today here. Some interview questions for a financial advisor.
Yeah, these are actual questions that one of Wynn's prospects came in with last week, right?
Yeah, and this is one going back to the question on qualifications and experience. And I'd never had this before. What continuing education do you do? And I don't know if probably most listeners don't know, but the CF board has just recently increased the amount of continuing education that you have to maintain your CFP certification.
Yeah, so continuing education is an ongoing thing that we have to do not only for our CFP certification, but also our accredited investment fiduciary certification. So it's an ongoing learning process here, but of course that's required with the changes in tax laws and and the economy and who knows whatever. But it's a requirement that we have right now. It's 36 hours that we have to do, plus another 2 hours of ethics that we have to do on a regular basis to maintain our certification. So that's, I think, one of the other things that distinguishes us from folks that just call themselves fiduciaries or wealth managers or whatever it might be. So,
Then going into planning, approach, and services, one of the things was like, do we coordinate with CPAs and estate planning attorneys and just attorneys in general? And yeah, a lot of times I'll in speaking with the client, we're kind of like the quarterback of their financial team. So yes, it's quite common to have conversations with a client's CPA or estate planning attorney.
Yeah, we do it all the time, and that's a part of what we do as planners. So there's, keep an eye on all the pieces and parts: the legal side, the tax side, and of course the investment side.
Right. And of course we're not CPAs, we can't give tax advice, and we're not attorneys, so we can't give legal advice. But yeah, we do have a lot of experience, and we have. And planning is part of that without actually giving specific advice.
Yeah, we know what questions to ask.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then one of the question was our investment philosophy. So obviously we have an investment policy statement, which is part of our disclosure, and it deals with some of the questions in terms of what is our philosophy. So like one is like, how do we manage risk? Well, we manage risk through diversification.
Right. I mean, that's the best way to manage it, and mixing the right amount of fixed in stocks or equities to give you the amount of growth that you need and the amount of income that you need based on your risk tolerance and your time horizon. So, yep.
And then, of course, tax efficiency. So, yes, in a non-qualified account, tax efficiency is very important, and it's a way to kind of help with some of the variance or some of the movement in the markets in playing that tax loss harvesting angle.
Right.
Tax loss harvesting is like if the market's down and you're showing losses in some of your investments, you can sell those investments and take the loss without and then rebalance and still stay in the same model or the same allocation that's appropriate for you, but you're harvesting those tax losses at the time, and then you're just basically keeping the model in play, but taking advantage of some of that variation in the returns.
You pocket the loss to use in the future to offset other gains.
Correct.
Yes, and then you did mention rebalancing.
Yeah. Rebalancing is just part of that, because if you are properly diversified, then some of your asset classes, some of your types of investments. I mean, we don't want everything moving up or everything moving down, but we want some variety, because that is where that incremental growth and that overall growth comes into. So it's not picking the right investment because nobody has a crystal ball, but it's that proper mix of investments that keep you on track for what your ultimate goals are.
Right, and I think that's the biggest challenge that we have as investment managers, really being behavioral coaches, because
good point.
It's human nature that people want to see all their investments going up. They want to see everything going up.
Right.
But that's the worst thing that can happen, because when it's good, it's great, but when it's bad, it's ugly. And sometimes you can't recover from the ugly. So you have to recognize there's going to be certain times when certain parts of your portfolio aren't going to be doing as well as the best parts of your portfolio. And that's really what diversification is all about. But having the right, once again, mix of equities and fixed income will get you there in the long run. Knowing what your time with quality is really our investment philosophy.
Right, and if everything's going up or everything's going down, you're not properly allocated.
Exactly.
So, another question was communication and ongoing support. So, like, how often, will we meet? Well, that depends on the complexity of your situation. I mean, typically with clients, I'll meet more frequently early on, because we're trying to get things set up. You do a lot of work in the front, with getting the financial planning software built out, just getting to know the client, just kind of establishing things, and then thereafter it just depends. Best practices, and I know at a firm, we reach out to all of our clients at least once a year, just to check in, if nothing else. But it can be anywhere as frequently as monthly to quarterly, some annually, or.
And the door is always open. There's no charge if you pick up the phone and want to talk. There's no charge if you want to come in the office and just get an update. This is part of the service that we provide. And it's interesting, working with clients, many clients over the years. Some people want to see you on a regular basis. They just feel it's like they're getting their teeth cleaned twice a year, which is fine. And some people say, I know what I'm doing. I know what you're doing. And if things change in my life, I'll come see you. And our job is to be sure that the portfolio is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And your job is to keep us informed of changes in your life, both good or bad. And so we can make adjustments when need be. But we're always here for you, and there's no extra charge to pick up the phone or come in and see us. That's what we do.
Yeah, and one of the follow-up questions to that was, what happens if I need help between meetings? And
sure.
Yeah, like you said, Joe, just pick up the phone, shoot us an email, whatever. I mean, we're always here.
Yep.
The other part of that was like, how do we communicate? Well, a lot of times I'll communicate based upon my client's preference. So if it's phone, text, email, I mean, we have all those channels of communication. So it's just whatever the client prefers.
Yeah, and I'm going to make a little world announcement here today. We're about to launch the CFG app for all of our clients, which would be another great communications tool. We got a little pilot program going now with a small number of clients, and it's going very, very well. So in the very near future, all of our clients will have the opportunity to go to the App Store and get the CFG app. And it's going to be a great tool so our clients can pull up their portfolio anytime, 24/7, and wait for us to communicate both back and forth with emails and texting and secure links and so on and so forth. So we're looking forward to launching that on a firm-wide basis here very, very soon.
There you go. You heard it first this morning.
There you go.
The next question had to do with technology, privacy, and security. Again, you can't be too careful today. And the questions were, how's someone's data protected? So obviously, one of the disclosures we give out to everyone is their privacy statement, which talks about what data we collect and how we use it. And then, of course, we have the financial planning software has bank level encryption. So any information that's captured in that is encrypted. We have the ability to send encrypted emails back and forth to our clients. So your data is very well protected.
Yeah, and that's once again one of the things that CFAX asks about. What do you do in terms of, and that we got to pass that test. So in today's world, with everybody trying to get in everybody's wallet or pocket or mind through the internet, you have to be very, very careful, and it's one of the things we take very, very seriously.
And then another question was about a client portal. And we actually have a couple here at the firm. We have one through the financial planning software that's available, and then we also just have a standard portal that we can transmit and place documents. Clients can place documents, it's fully encrypted, everything's secure. So there's a couple of different ways to get information to us and have access to information.
And the good news, that'll all soon be bundled in the CFG app.
Yeah.
So one click of your phone, and your phone hopefully is password protected, and you've got that covered. But it's another way for us to communicate with our clients on a very efficient basis.
And the last question was dealt with fit and expectations. So one of the questions was, what does a successful client relationship look like? And that was one I had to think about because I had never really been asked that before. And I one of the things I'm looking for in a client is are they coachable? If they're coming to me for advice and I give them advice, are they going to act on that advice? The other thing I look for is just transparency and openness and honesty, because that's, we're relying on our clients to give us their information, and, garbage in, garbage out. So I'm trying to gauge that. And then it's just, I don't necessarily have to be my client's best friend, but it is an intimate relationship because you are dealing with people's money, and people's money tends to be the focus of a lot of issues with people, emotional and practical. So I'm also looking at kind of their relationship with the money in general. I'm also looking to see if a person is a saver or a spender, because that's kind of a continuum. A lot of times with married couples, I've noticed you have a saver and you have a spender. And that dynamic comes into play a lot of times with planning and investment management, and that's good to know. I mean, I tell clients a lot of times jokingly that I don't do marriage counseling, but that is a component that's involved.
A big part of it. You want to be sure we're all on the same page, and I think the way you get that is to do the plan so they really understand the financial decisions that they make and how they impact how you're going to get to where you want to go. So if one horse is going one direction, one horse wants to go another direction, the wagon's going nowhere.
Right.
So you want to be sure that they're on the same page, or that they're making financial decisions, whether buy the car, buy the vacation home, do this or do that. You understand the implications of that, and then you both agree that this is what we want to do or we don't want to do. And the worst thing to do, you can't deal with the situation where, once again, you have two horses going in two different directions.
Well, and another thing too, Joe, I don't know if you've run into this, but a lot of times, I mean, people come to see us because they're getting ready to retire, and we're trying to figure out, what are your goals? What does this look like? What does this retirement lifestyle look like? And people a lot of times don't really have a clear vision of what's important to them, and it's really hard to. I mean, if they have that clear vision, then it's just a matter of putting the money with whatever the goal is that needs to accomplish that, and it becomes math at that point,
Mm-hmm.
But helping people kind of decide what they want is a part of what we do. But and it's kind of surprising that more people haven't done that.
Well, that's true. But I think at the end of the day, and as I've said before, the most important thing that we can provide to our clients is peace of mind.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And how do you measure that? It's knowing that you're going to be okay when you put your head on the pillow at night. You don't have to worry about it, or that somebody else is worrying about it for you. But that's what planning is, and I think that's what distinguishes us from many, many firms out there, is that we do planning in order to get you to where you want to go. And then, of course, we'll help you manage your money if you hire us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we charge a fee for that, and as your portfolio grows, so does our income, and as it goes down, so does our income. So we're on the same side of the table with you. I hear the bumper music. Josh, take it away.
Thank you so much, Joe and Wynn. If you want to join the conversation, we got some open lines available for you, 844-580-9326, 844-580 WDBO. We also have Charles Curry taking calls off the air. If you want to call right into the office of Certified Financial Group, Charles available to you at 407-869-9800. 407-869-9800. You're listening to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
today
with the Certified Financial Group.
They're going in thinking they're talking to a dietitian, and they're really talking to Lou the butcher.
What is a fiduciary? When it comes to investing, a fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. For 40 years, planners at Certified Financial Group have been guiding our local clients toward financial peace of mind. The rest of the world is still catching up, but our team of certified financial planners are the local, experienced fiduciaries you can trust. Certified Financial Group are your Central Florida planners. Call us today.
40 years ago, I had a dream. CFG has been chosen once again as one of the top 100 financial advisory firms by CNBC out of nearly 40,000. And because they won't divulge the selection criteria, asked my colleagues what they thought.
Maybe it's because our history dates back almost 50 years.
Could be because we're independent, but we custody with national firms like Fidelity and others.
17 CFP professionals under one roof.
Or it could be because we're CFEX certified.
And a real person answers the phone.
In any case, we're proud to have been selected. So if you're looking for financial planning or investment advice for a fee, look us up online. You may be new to the area, but we're not. For more than 40 years, our certified financial planner professionals, acting as fiduciaries and providing retirement planning and asset management for a fee to countless families across Central Florida.
We've been with Certified since 1992.
We're now into the third or fourth generation of clients that have come to CFG and the team here to do a great job.
It's been so long since I've been doing this that I just don't even worry about anything anymore.
We're Certified Financial Group, where we're planning tomorrow, today.
As an investor, you want peace of mind. You need to know that your advisor is not only thoroughly competent, but also a fiduciary. In other words, he or she is acting at all times in your best interests. You need to trust your advisor, regardless of how much money you have to invest or what part of the world you're in. It might not be your money you're entrusting the advisor with. Perhaps you're a board member of a charity or foundation whose future depends on prudent investment. Or perhaps you have the responsibility of making investment decisions on behalf of other people. As the trustee of a retirement plan, the decisions you make can have a direct impact on the lives of your employees. Whatever type of investor you are, the solution is to use an advisor certified by the Center for Fiduciary Excellence. A CFEX certified advisory firm demonstrates its adherence to a global fiduciary standard of excellence, a defined standard with specific criteria covering 21 best practices. The documented, repeatable processes and the evidence-based decision-making that CFEX demands are more likely to generate investment portfolios that match client needs and expectations. And because the firm voluntarily agrees to a rigorous annual audit, investors can rest assured that their advisor continues to work to the highest professional standards. This independent verification is even more critical for trustees and investment committee members of retirement plans who are legally required to conduct regular due diligence on their service providers. Use a CFEX certified firm, and that job has been done already by an expert at no expense to the plan. So why leave anything to chance? Insist on working with investment professionals you can truly trust. Insist on using a CFEX certified advisor.
So you guys don't know Chicago, but I'm sure in your neighborhood you guys have an old school butcher where you walk in and there's a bunch of guys, no gloves, big white aprons, and there's Frank and there's Stevie and there's Mikey. And these guys know more about meat and more about animals and more about cooking the meat than any of us will ever learn. And so you walk in and you say, hey, Lou, I need to, I'm barbecuing this weekend, right? What do you like? And Lou goes to the big racks of stuff he has underneath the glass, and he goes, the veal chops, just in from Argentina, they are the bomb. And you go, veal, oh, I like veal. What do you got on skirt steak? Oh, we got some great skirt steak, just came in yesterday from Montana. Skirt steak is one of my favorite, marinated up a little bit, it's fantastic. Lou will never say to you, Elliot, it's a little long on the meat here, big guy, your cholesterol is getting high. Why don't you go down to the fishmonger a couple blocks and have a nice piece of salmon? Right? He'll never do that. Why? His job is to sell me meat, and I go in, actually the same way I go into the Toyota dealership, because I like Toyotas, and I trust the salesman to sell me a good product if I trust him. And the fact that he's got my interest at heart vis-a-vis my expectations for selling me that thing. By the same token, when I go to see a dietitian, I know she's going to look at all of my labs, she's going to take all the measurements, she's going to run all of her analysis, and she's going to absolutely give me her best thinking on what's best for me. Whether she's a vegetarian.
Welcome back to On the Money here on WDBO AM 580, always streaming inside your WDBO app. Josh McCarthy with WDBO here talking with Joe Bert and Wynn Smith from the Certified Financial Group. As this episode comes to a close, we do have Charles Curry taking calls off the air at 407-869-9800. Charles Curry, Certified Financial Planner with the Certified Financial Group, 407-869-9800. I want to get one of these text questions in if we have a second here, Joe.
Let's do it.
All right, David wants to know. David says, there are many comparisons between the AI boom and the dot-com bubble. What do you think? Kind of a question within a question there.
The AI boom and the dot-com bubble. Well, I certainly remember the dot-com bubble.
Yes.
We're now living in the AI boom.
Yeah.
And will it be a bubble or is it a bubble? That's a big question. What do you think, Wynn?
Well, I think it's kind of a red flag when people say this time it's different, but this time it may be different because I mean the AI you're seeing productivity gains and you're seeing firms adopt AI, but it's not like back in the .com bubble you saw companies just put .com as part of their name and then all of a sudden their valuation went up even though they weren't making money. Now I know the big thing with the AI boom is the profitability and then how much is being invested and what kind of revenues has to be generated on that investment. So, I mean, but when it gets down to it, we're still humans and we still have human nature despite the technology and the increase in the speed at which things are moving. So I guess time will tell, Joe. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball.
Well, they're unfortunately, or this is the way it goes, is that your major players in the AI world it's an arms race as to how fast they can build their data centers, and then they've got the struggles of the financing they do, and the power that they need, and the water that they need, and the regulation that they have to go through, and then we're competing with China. There's another big factor in this, and AI is certainly here. The question is, which companies will be the survivors when all this shakes out, and who will be the losers? And nobody has a crystal ball. If I did, I would share it with all of our listeners this morning. We'll all make a lot of money. But I think you have to be careful because those valuations are going through the roof. It's okay to play in that arena for a little bit, but do not bet the ranch on it.
Well, and I did see an article the other day. They were kind of comparing, the different AI software engines or just the programs to like when cell phones first came out, and they were talking about how, when the cell phones first came out, you had Motorola, you had Nokia, you had companies that you don't have anymore. Now, you got Apple, you got Android, and they were talking about that. And they were also talking about how a lot of the AI systems were like specializing. So, it started out with that general large language model, but now they're getting into, specific applications and specialization. So, I know we're using some that are geared toward the financial service industry.
Right. But it's evolving very, very fast. And you want to be careful out there, too, because there's a lot of scams out there that are using AI. It's a whole new world out there. I hear the bumper music, Josh. I guess that means the end of the program.
Thank you so much for wrapping up another great episode of On the Money here on WDBO. We do have Charles Curry in the office of Certified Financial Group answering your calls, as this episode comes to a close. 407-869-9800. 407-869-9800. You've just listened to On the Money, where we're planning tomorrow
today
with the Certified